So I suspect that you might be wondering why I'm talking about getting into data when you're already here at this conference, right? And the aim of this talk is to help you to understand some of the different routes into tech. And I hope by sharing my experience that you might be able to help others join our wonderful data community. So I was going to do a show of hands here to see how many people had studied an IT or data-related course at university or college. So we can still do it. So not very many of us. Okay. Well, let's go into my story. So 3 years ago, I was at home and I was delivering back-to-back online English lessons in my spare room. And I was feeling really unfulfilled and unmotivated and just really felt that I wasn't using my brain to its full potential. And a job came up in the operations team for the teaching centre where I worked. And I applied, and the take-home task for the final 2 was an analytics task in Excel. And I really loved doing the task. I got down to the final 2, but I didn't get the job. And afterwards, the hiring manager reached out to me and said that they'd been really impressed with my data analysis task and would I be willing to help them on a more casual basis. It turns out they were really struggling to manage their reporting and they'd outgrown their current solution in Excel. So, having seen the opportunity, I said I could help them improve their process, even though I had very little experience of doing anything more than writing basic formula and doing pivots, but I didn't want to miss my chance. So I began looking at their process in Excel and seeing how I could improve their reporting. And I spoke to some of my friends and family about what I was doing. And my dad said that they use Power BI at his company and that is the best reporting tool. So, having never heard of Power BI, I suggested to the operations team that we migrate the reporting function from Excel into Power BI. And so it began. Eventually, I did join the operations team on a full-time role where I took ownership of the reporting function and later moved into process automation for what was at the time a rapidly growing company. Fast forward 3 years to today, and I'm now working as a full-time BI developer. And at my current company, I've just built and taken to market a software as a service solution using Power Platform, Power BI, and Azure. So how did I do it? Well, I believe that there were 3 key aspects to my approach. So let's have a look at what they were. Well, the first one was I believed that I would. Now, I decided that I was going to work in tech, and I became single-minded in my pursuit of that. From that take-home task in Excel to teaching myself Power BI, I had discovered my passion. Now, if you're thinking about starting your career in the world of data, or you want to help someone else that is, then you need to believe that you can and believe that they can, because I believe that you can. And a great place to start is with the #1 analytics tool in the world. Do we know what it is? Microsoft Excel, exactly. Excel really is a fantastic tool, and it is available to almost everyone. And you can learn so many data analysis skills right from within Excel. You can learn to manipulate data using formula. You can learn about data modeling and Power Query and then start to understand the code in M. You can write automations in VBA and produce some really good visualizations right from within your spreadsheets. So I believed that I would. And you can apply this logic of belief to whatever your next career goal may be. Whether you're looking for a promotion, maybe like me, you are pivoting into a new field, or perhaps you're studying something new. Find that belief that you're going to succeed and then go and make it happen. Now, the second key aspect to my approach was that I told people what I was going to do. So I spoke to my family and friends and colleagues, and I told them what I was doing. And in doing so, I made myself accountable. Now, if you can learn Excel, then you can start to use Power BI. Power BI Desktop is free to download, it's a great tool, and best of all, you can learn all about it completely for free on Microsoft Learn, and even follow data analyst pathways that take you step by step through each of the areas that you need to learn. You can learn about advanced data modeling in there, produce some really fantastic visualizations, and begin to tell stories with your data. And if I could give you just one piece of advice when getting started, it would be to read up about star schemas. If you can get a good handle on the basics with data modeling, that's going to give you a really strong foundation to build upon. So I told people I would. Now, I took every opportunity to network. And I was really surprised by how many people wanted to help me. Colleagues from other teams that were willing to share their knowledge and train me on the tech that they were using. People in my network who wanted to speak about their own experiences, give advice, share resources. And through this, I discovered the community. Because I was always working outside of my comfort zone, I spent a lot of time on Microsoft forums and Stack Overflow, watching YouTube tutorials. Some of my favorite YouTubers are here at the conference, Guy in a Cube, and for Power Platform, what I work on now, I really love Reza Durrani's work and Christine Kolodziejski, so if you have a chance, definitely check them out. And I spent a lot of time reading blogs as well. And I discovered that the community are incredibly generous with their knowledge. I couldn't believe how helpful people were. I would post on a Microsoft forum with a problem I was having in DAX, and people would reply with detailed guidance on where I'd gone wrong, and it was a huge support to me when I was becoming self-taught. I was really lucky to have people in my community that worked in data and tech. And because I was telling people what I was going to do, I discovered that there was a BI team in the wider company where I worked at that time. And I got the opportunity to start working alongside them. I really learned a lot from them. So if you work in a company where people are doing the job and using the skills that you want to develop, speak to them, offer to help them, tell them what you're going to achieve. Oh, if you don't have that team in your company, I've still got it on my, maybe it's timed out. It's okay. If you don't have that team in your company, can you find a need for the skills in your current company? Is your company getting insight from their data? Is your company's data structured in a useful and meaningful way? And if not, that could be your chance. You might be listening to this and thinking, well, Rosie, I don't have a job at this time, and that's okay, because you don't need a job to get hold of data. Do you have a hobby where you can start gathering your own data? Maybe you're like me and you're a runner. You could start collecting your 5K and 10K times each week and looking at your progress. Maybe you're a gamer. Can you start recording your completion times and reviewing your games? Find some data or collect some data to analyze. You can also get hold of some really great free data sets online as well. I do have another slide here. It's a shame you can't see it. It's really the best one yet. But the third key aspect to my approach is that I faked it until it was true. Now, there's a really famous TED Talk by Amy Cuddy, and I really suggest you go and watch it after this, because it's really brilliant. Can you still click it on? Yeah? It's visible online. Yes. There we go. I faked it until it was true. There's the visual. It's amazing. So the TED Talk by Amy Cuddy, it is called Your Body Language May Shape Who You Are. And in it, she talks about the power of fake it till you make it. But she finishes up by using an expression that really resonates with my own experience. And that is the power of fake it till you become it. Now, if you want to progress, you're going to need to future truth yourself. Start saying yes to difficult tasks that push you outside of your comfort zone. Even if it takes you double the time to do something, you have to spend your evenings on Microsoft Learn, or maybe like me, reading Python for Dummies to make it happen. You're going to gain so much from committing, and this then forces you to deliver. Now, if you get the opportunity, take on a challenging project. 1 year into my own journey, I decided I was going to learn Python. And the operations team where I worked were losing hours each week to a really manual and boring process. So I told them I could automate it. And I was so far outside of my comfort zone, and it really was scary. But I worked into the night, and because I had committed to them, I had to deliver. So I learned so much along the way. And it really is scary, but there's a fantastic book, and it's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I'm sure some of you will have heard of it. It's by Susan Jeffers. And if you're taking your own self-taught journey, whether into a new field or you're going in for a promotion, you can learn a lot about imposter syndrome and embracing it and leaning into it, because it doesn't go away. Working in a fast-moving industry like data and tech, I'm always reminded of how much there is still to learn. But I told you, look at that. A feeling outside of your comfort zone really is where the growth happens. Now, I often felt like, and often still do, an imposter when I started attending events. But there's some fantastic free Microsoft events where you can learn about the technologies you're interested in. Once you have an idea of what it is you want to work on or what you want to learn, I would encourage you to attend user groups, find roundtables that you can contribute to. And of course, you can come to big conferences like this, SQL Bits. And if you're able to, once you start to get more confident in your knowledge, I would really encourage you to start sharing that knowledge. Perhaps you can speak at events, either online or in person. Can you train some of your team members or colleagues on what you have learned? Or maybe you're a writer, you could maybe share your knowledge in a blog. Because sharing your knowledge really forces you to validate your understanding. And it's also an excellent way to give back and contribute to the community. So to summarize, the 3 key aspects of my self-taught journey. First of all, I believed that I would, so believe that you can. Find that belief and commit. Second of all, tell people what you're going to do. Make yourself accountable. And then third of all, and I really do believe this is the most important one, fake it till you become it. Embrace the imposter syndrome. And then before you know it, you won't be faking it any longer. That's the end of the session. My name is Rosie Jurovic. Here are my contact details. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter. This is my company. You can see about what we do. And please do give me some feedback. Thank you very much.